Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Carlos D. I am an artist from Los Angeles, California. In this video, you're going to see me at the drawing table creating some art. The video is not intended to be instructional, but informative and entertaining. If you learned something from the video, then that's awesome. Hanging out with me today, once again, my cousin Anthony. Anthony, thanks for taking the time to hang out, brother.
Hello. We're back here once again.
Yeah, man. Cool. Appreciate it, dude.
No problem.
Well, I wanted to bring up something to your attention. Octavio had mentioned that he really wanted to see the video that you made. Remember the Ninja Scroll with the Smashing Pumpkins backing track, Zero. So and like we chatted a little bit about it. So you can't find it, huh? You know.
I've been looking for it. I know I have it somewhere. It's just not. I have somewhere in the storage, and I have a bunch of stuff in front of it. So I literally have to take everything out.
Cool.
I know. I mean, I know I didn't throw it away, but I have copies, and I give some to friends, and so I call the friend up, and he says he has one, so he'll bring it up whenever he comes around.
If we get our hands on it, then we'll.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we'll find it. You know.
Cool.
It's kind of cool that he actually was influenced to hear that music by that video.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of cool because to hear that he really got into the Smashing Pumpkins from that.
Yeah, man.
You know, it's like, wow,
how fun.
It's interesting.
You know, like the conversation that we had about Guns N' Roses, how we didn't know that we had that connection. I never knew that Octavio got into the Smashing Pumpkins from the video that I showed him.
Oh, he never brought it up to you?
No, dude, no, not until that time that we were recording, and he's like, yeah, that's the reason why I got into.
So you just knew that he was into him because you guys talked about. Obviously, you guys talked about Smashing Pumpkins before, right?
Because that video that you made when I showed it to him, this was before high school for us.
Okay.
So once we got into high school, we were pretty much. I think we might have followed the same music. Morrissey, the Smiths. As far as myself, I did get a little bit more into funk, rock, like Primus. But and the Smashing Pumpkins was always popular. So I just kind of presumed that he just liked the Smashing Pumpkins just like me, like regular Joe, right?
Yeah.
But I never knew that his first taste of the Pumpkins was that video, dude. So that was really cool, man.
Yeah, it's like I was mentioning that time that I would record videos after the regular MTV lineup would play.
Yeah.
So I record all these different bands and stuff, and then my friends would take that because they were like, "Oh man, we don't have MTV, so how am I gonna?"
That's cool.
You know, they're not gonna hear that in the radio or anything.
Yeah.
And if it does, it would be rarely, or it would be like 4 or 5 months later.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like, "Yeah, man, I got influenced by this and that, by this band, by listening to by seeing your VHS." Yeah, and I was like, "Wow, cool, that's kind of cool." You know, and I really didn't know to that point that it was like that either. You know, that was cool. 20 years later. And then I think the same thing with Octavio now. It's 20 years later. He brings that up about the recording. Really? And then I kind of a flashback to the school. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember when you mentioned about asking you for the VHS that you used to have.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember the house where you were at. The cassettes, because I was like, I need something to edit with, you know?
Yeah.
I remember that, and I was like, wow, I brought back some memories right there, man.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I forgot about that for a while, and then you brought it up, and I was like, well, yeah.
That's awesome.
And 311 also.
Yeah, he mentioned another video. I don't remember it, dude.
When we actually went to we were actually in their recording studio when they recorded the album for, I think it was that one, the Beautiful Disaster. Beautiful Disaster and all that was it at that time, and Amber and all that stuff. But it was already emptied out. They weren't there anymore.
Oh,
yeah,
cool,
but
dude.
I was going to school next door. It was Energy, and they were actually recording. Korn was recording their the Shoots and Letters, or what's it called?
Follow the Leader.
Follow the Leader, yeah, one, yeah. Oh. So they had a big old barbecue party outside and everything. We were going into class, and they were all partying outside. And I was
wow, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, and then they're like, yeah, it's the band Korn. And I was like, oh yeah, I heard of what's the other song, Blind, or the early ones. And then I was working when I was going to school there. I was delivering pizza in Pizza Hut, and I go deliver pizza to Korn.
Oh, sick!
And I was like, they opened the door, and I was like, dude, I'm learning recording engineering next to you guys are next to NRG. He's like, oh, really? That's cool, man. And then I was like, yeah, man, you guys are awesome tonight. But I really never saw him live or anything, but I just heard him on the radio. But, obviously they have their own characters. So you could tell each of them were whatever. And I was like, I find out too much. And I was like, oh. So then, dude, give me $20 tip. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
Sick, dude.
And then about a month later, I go down Lancashire, and I think it was Lancashire, Magnolia, and there was a recording studio there, and I didn't look too obvious what it was, but I opened the door and I go to pay in the reception, and then the glass window behind them, and it was Metallica.
Wow.
They're recording the Black Album.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, dude, I saw them for that. And then I saw them from the mirror, or from the glass, but I wasn't able to talk to them or anything.
Sure.
I didn't talk to them directly like they were recording that day. But I was like, dude, I was there because they were recording that album. Because about a couple months later is when it came out.
Wow, that's
and I was like, oh, that's where they were recording part of it. I don't know what song, where they were.
Sure.
But I was kind of awesome too to see that. And I was like, that I just came back from that one just memory,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
just ran into him like that.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, you ran into Mars Volta,
Yeah.
Just walking in and boom, there it is.
Yeah. Did you have questions about the art?
Yeah, what was it? Just a pin or what? How do you erase and stuff?
How am I erasing?
Yeah, because you went like this and it would erase it.
Well,
are you rewinding? Or what?
This is it's on an iPad.
Oh, it's your iPad.
So everything is digital.
Okay, so that pin's digital.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
you can just change whatever on
yeah,
it.
that's the great thing about.
I was like, what? How do you do that?
The great thing about working digital is it's so easy to undo, redo, as opposed to it's like erasing, right?
Yeah.
But it's just so fast.
Plus, you're going fast on the video to begin with, so it's like
it's better.
I saw something go back, and then you drew it, and then it kind of went away. I was like, wait.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
I didn't see you switch pins or anything. I was like, wait. Okay, that makes sense. It's digital.
Yeah, it's all digital.
See, my mind was just thinking old school.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, this man, I've been watching on YouTube the first couple of UFCs, UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The ridiculous ones?
Yeah, the OG ones. And it was, so I'm just like, you know what? I want to do something where it's kind of like a garbage pail kids.
Oh, but the fighters back then. Dude, there was no rules, right?
Exactly.
Damn, that was crazy. Yeah. Just no gouging, that was about it.
No out gouging, no biting, something like that.
There was no classes yet, huh? Weight class and none of that stuff.
And for that time, it looked really cool, man, because it really looked like a Van Damme movie or something.
Oh yeah.
A kickboxer or something. Like a
David and Goliath, this big old dude and little
exactly,
dude, yeah.
Man. It was
crazy.
Literally style versus style.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they were really mixed yet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one or two different styles.
And what was funny is to include the kung fu styles. Like there's some dude like that came in and his thing was the next fighter is so and so and so and his style is the 5 animals.
Oh no!
Like what? The 5 animals.
Like Jackie Chan.
Like, this is gonna get rocked.
The crane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how funny, man!
Nice.
Because all that was new, was fresh, right? Like for the average person that was not into martial arts, but like for us that were fans of the kung fu film, films and Bruce Lee and stuff, we knew a little bit about it. But seeing somebody attempting to put it in practical application, in real combat situation, like you saw what was real and what wasn't.
Yeah.
Like all these dudes, I mean. Hoist Gracie was just destroying everybody.
Yeah, and to me with him, I was like, dude, he's just grabbing everyone from close and just bringing them down. And I was like, well, that's the style. And I was like, to me, I was like, I didn't get it yet.
Exactly.
I was like, what? You don't want to see him hit? And they're like, no, it's his robe and everything. It's like all that comes into play, man. It's like that's it. He would just pull it out like this and do whatever. And I was like, that's the style. And I'm like, my friend was like explaining to me, and I still was like, yeah, but I want to see the kicks. And I was like, dude, it's not always going to be like that. It's like some are going to be wrestlers, some are going to be boxers, but then you start noticing like, wow, this is different. But what I liked about it most is it ended quick. It wasn't like 12 rounds. You have to sit there and watch the whole thing. It grows over it, It's like and there was a definite winner and loser,
And I believe the first couple of ones were no time limit.
Yeah,
it was just
But they would end quick.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They would end real quick, dude.
Weren't there some bare knuckle ones too?
Yeah. There was. I don't know if there was. No. You could wear whatever you
you
wear
want
whatever
to.
you want to
Yeah.
wear, or wear
Don't.
whatever you don't want to
Yeah,
wear.
okay, yeah.
Because it was the thing that
That's what's
lasted the
crazy about it.
longest out of everything, even into the UFC's like 20, and the mid 20s, was the wrestling shoes were still there.
Oh, okay.
So even that's what lasted the most out of everything, because they at some point there was no more gi, there was no more individual uniforms of the practitioners, right? With the exception of the mat shoes. Like the mat shoes lasted the longest, but then at some point it was just bare just trunks, and that's it.
Yeah.
So, but they're fun, man. They're fun. They're interesting. It's really cool to see the evolution.
Yeah.
You know,
big time.
Yeah, and it's
It makes sense now, though.
man.
It should have been something like that, but I guess it just had to start from somewhere.
Well, there was always these, and even I think I got the Van Damme movie like mixed up. Not what's the other one?
Bloodsport, kickboxer?
Bloodsport.
Yeah.
So with Frank Dukes.
Watching with my dad all the time.
Yeah, man. That was classic, dude. So what was that? That was literally UFC.
He's starting watching all those right now.
Good.
The streaming.
Good.
He's like, oh. He's like,
those are classics.
I'm
man.
doing something and I pass by and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one. And talk about it a little bit.
Those are cool, man. Well, it was that. It wasn't mainstream, but there were. I think the reason why they talk about it in the first UFC. The reason why I believe Horion Gracie, or the grandfather, the oldest one, wanted to really push for this was because he wanted to show everybody, like, the family jiu-jitsu, the Brazilian jiu-jitsu that we've developed and evolved is the top-notch martial art of the world when it comes to no holds barred.
Yeah.
And we want to prove that because there was a lot of open tournaments, and even his brother, I forgot his name. The other Gracie brother that has the documentary Choke.
Okay.
That's a badass documentary, dude. It was like probably like in the late 70s or early 80s.
Oh wow.
And it was Henzo Gracie, I believe, and he was in like a kind of like a UFC league, something like that, right? Where he was like the top notch dude. This was destroying everybody. But it was all that stuff was really popular in Asia, and over there.
Yeah.
And UFC was pretty much what broke through the American culture. That was like yo, this is interesting. Seeing all this, mixed martial arts, claiming who's the best. Let's find out. Cool, man.
I remember Bloodsport, they like grind up the glass and put it on your brain. Like, what's that going to happen in UFC?
That's kickboxing.
That's kickboxer.
That's kickboxing.
It's like, whoa.
Remember?
That's crazy, insane.
I remember that, especially because in some of the funniest movies too from the 80s. I think they were 90s. Also late 80s, 90s, the Hot Shot movies with Charlie Sheen. Because they're
so ridiculous.
Because they're going through the, they're just mocking, all the films, right? The parody of a bunch of the war films and Rambo stuff, and Van Damme, like all the badass dudes, and he's in the camp, and instead of like dipping their like wraps in glass and nails and all this stuff, remember? Do you remember what it was?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, dude.
And I was going to watch it a couple days ago.
Oh, man.
Too. I was like, I have it in my queue, though.
Do you want me to spoil it? No.
Yeah, go for it, for the audience.
Okay. So, all you hear is, so the scene in Bloodsport is they dip their wraps in some kind of glue, and then there's a couple barrels of nails, glass, rock, whatever, and then that becomes part of their basically their wrap, their wrist wraps, hand wraps. And so now they got knuckles that shred. Well, in Hot Shots, they dip their wraps in what appears to be glue, but it's caramel.
Okay.
No, dude, no. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it.
It's been a while.
It's so
That's why I put it in my queue. And then all the other ones that come with it, I started picking them up.
Yeah, audience, do yourself a favor. Go watch Hot Shots Part 1 and Hot Shots Part 2.
Part 2, there you go.
DEUX, right?
Yeah, DEUX,
French,
yeah. Exactly.
So funny. They hold up to this day, dude. They're just so funny. And especially because we reckon those of that era, we recognize the films that they're parodying.
Yeah, that's
they're
true.
making
That's
a
true.
parody
You have to
of.
kinda
So
get
it's
that
even
too.
funnier because we know where they got it from. You know.
Yeah, that's
But,
true. You have to.
no, I'm not gonna spoil it, man. It's too good. That scene is just too good, man. And
And then
it's such a
there's
one-liner
so much
too.
things that happen to you that you probably would miss most of them if you haven't really watched them for a while.
Yeah, go watch it. They're so funny. They're really funny, entertaining.
Yeah. I was showing my parents the same thing. Like airplane.
Oh
That
my
one.
God!
And then I told them,
Dude.
look at the background. Don't look at look at what's happening in the background. You know, it's like
That's
wow,
right.
you
Yeah,
catch-
dude. Those films you had to pay a lot of it. You had to see them more than once.
Yeah,
dude.
you can't catch everything. They would do so much things in the background.
Because
Awesome.
what they're saying is a catch.
Yeah.
The background is a catch. There's a gag or a gimmick happening at the same time. Like all this stuff, man.
You're like, well, it's just overwhelming.
It's just really, really good.
And then I showed them the movie Caveman too. That's an old one. It's with Ringo Starr.
Oh yeah. That movie's fun. Like
that's funny too, man.
Yeah.
It's good for my parents, you know. 'Cause
it's literally like the caveman era.
Yeah,
Stuff,
how they
right?
started fire and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's funny, man.
Man, I haven't seen that one in years.
Yeah,
wow.
you found it on Tubi, I think.
Solid, dude.
And
Solid.
Somebody, you gotta watch this one. It's awesome. How they first fried an egg. It's awesome.
Oh man, I gotta go watch.
They get the one of the dinosaurs stoned, berries or something. It's funny. It's been a while, but I started watching. I was like, oh my! I remember most of it once I started watching it.
Oh, okay.
But like,
come back.
By scenes I would remember it. Then I would. Oh yeah, I remember this part when they chicken bones and making music. So it's kind of cool. Man, I was been.
Oh well, you know what? This came up. I think in the middle of this week, dude. Right, talking about the video that you made. So you made a video that was basically a music video for the song Zero by the Smashing Pumpkins, and the video that you chopped up was an edited version from the movie Ninja Scroll, Japanese animation Ninja Scroll. Well, earlier this week, you know, on YouTube, whatever their suggestions, and, you know, I'm like flipping through to see what I'm gonna play while I'm working, and this video came out and it said Redline and then something else, and I'm like, well, I recognize Redline as an anime. It's on Tubi.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite animes, and I'm like, I almost, as soon as I saw that, I almost knew what I was about to see. I'm like, man, don't tell me that somebody made a video just like the one you did, right? But of this song. So I clicked on it, and sure enough, dude. So it's music. You see you always talk about ideas, and then with time you see them happening, dude. Look, so somebody chopped up the movie Redline, and basically made a music video. I can't recall what the song was that was being played for the video, but it was like a synth wave. Okay. You know, so kind of relative to the look of the film. Yeah. It's cool. That anime and how it was filmed, it was really good. But remember, I was telling you, like, oh man, if you got some time and you know you're into editing, man, you could do that, because I think as long as you don't monetize it, there's no issue. Oh, okay. With copyright or anything. Yeah. The copyright stuff is just an issue if you monetize. But if you don't, which at least for me, on my channel, I don't have any intention to do that. But
I wasn't even sure how that will work, because I had seen that. Yeah, that's muted or something, or re-edited or something. But okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Redline, huh? Yeah, because there's a bunch of movies you could actually, with different kinds of songs too.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're basically doing the trailer, right?
Yeah.
But this time, I mean, it's like an extended version.
But when I did it, it was an old editing system at school, because it was at our school, and they were Pro Tools was already coming out. We didn't get Pro Tools like till the end of the last semester. Oh, wow. So we were still doing cuts, with the actual tape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the videos we would do on VHS, but we would do it. It was called the toaster, Tascam toaster, and it was like they had the cheesiest swipes, They'd have a star, and then swipe to the left, to the right. The girl like she spins like this, like in the champagne bottle. Oh, okay. Like that's how bad they were.
Like for transitioning.
Yeah, but then we had no running time, so that was even harder. Because, it's like they don't have SMPTE code like here. You got the SMPTE code, you match them up. Yeah. It was just like on the fly, you have to just punch it in, punch it out.
Wow.
And so it was kind of tough. And then I was like, wow, it was like, back then that's what they had, so that's what we had.
Yeah.
And then digital. Burley was coming in, man. Burley. But by the time I graduated, the last semester, that's when they were actually,
digital.
I remember them actually installing the computer
Really?
for Pro Tools,
Wow.
yeah. And they're like, this is like, a new thing and this and that, But everyone was like, but tape is better because, it's more realistic, like vinyl, It's like, it's more real and this and that. But, it's for money, time saving, and everything else. Efficiency, it took over,
Yeah.
So they were like, people were trying to get licensed to work with Pro Tools, Avid.
Yeah.
Avid was also the.
I recall Avid being popular for use for editing.
Yeah, we started doing. We got, like I said, the last semester we started. You guys can play with it, but it was really, we didn't have it. We didn't have a class or course on it.
Yeah.
It was like we had the basics of it, and they give us like the chart and.
Yeah, that's kind of rough,
the
dude.
shortcuts, but then it actually said, okay, we're gonna test you on it and whatever.
Yeah.
So I sat there and I did my friend's video.
Oh.
I sat there and we recorded his song because he would play. He had a song that was gonna come out in the clubs and stuff, and then we straight on went to had a little radio with us and went to the cemetery and just said play, and he's like singing with it, right?
Yeah.
And then we two different spots, but I forgot also I had no running time, so I had to try to sync it up with the song what the sound that we hear through the little boombox that we had in our hand.
Did you want to talk about the flyers that you found for your party?
Yeah, sure. So while Octavio put up the video, so I kind of went and started looking at I was looking in my bedroom first, my closet and stuff, and I haven't lived there for about 15 years. So I just moved back about 4 years ago. So some of the stuff is in my garage storage. Some I have storage at the side of the house. Some into my closet that I used to have. So I'm going through that, and I'm like, it's got to be in here. I'm pretty sure it's got to be in here.
And you're looking for the VHS?
I'm looking for the VHS that
Yeah,
you mentioned, yeah. So I had a couple of different ones, and I remember making copies, so I know it's like, I don't just have one. I had a couple. And I give some to my friend, like my friend with the video we did at the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
So he has a copy too. I haven't talked to him for a while, so. But anyways, I ran into all these flyers I had from high school, and they were like house parties, but they were like house parties back when they were like house parties like expose and stuff like that. It wasn't like the stuff that was like raves. Raves weren't even out yet. They were barely like, that's when there was a switch from the house parties to raves. So I remember that happening, and I found, and it was like a stack of them, and it was like most of them that I have are basically the ones I went to actually attended, or we used to promote it. So it's going to be Hunter Park, Bell, East LA, stuff like that. But and it was like the freestyle disco, like the fast disco, the danceable and stuff. And so I kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then I actually saw some of those flyers on YouTube that they're also playing a mix of those songs, and they put that actual flyer on there.
Do you recall the name of a song or group that?
Yeah, it was probably Expose, Stevie B.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're talking about
genre.
freestyle.
The freestyle, yeah.
Freestyle, okay.
And then they put up the flyers. I know one of them was a pink one with white background, but there was a bunch of them the same way. But yeah, you hit freestyle, you can see it sooner or later. It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
There's like a couple mixes, and there's gonna be like 5 or 6 of those modern DJs, whatever, and then you're gonna see the flyers. They'll pop out, and you'll notice they're from like the 80s and stuff. But I don't know, I think I have about 30 of them.
Wow.
So it's like, hang on, I'm like, damn, all these.
And those are the ones you
actually
attended.
I actually attended, yeah.
Damn, dude.
So we used to go to a lot of it. So, well, I had a girlfriend that had a car, so that's what helped a lot. Because back then it was like there was not even my radar to have a car.
Sure.
But
and you know what?
That was hers.
I'm curious. I think for us that went, at least for me, right, that went to high school in the 90s. I graduated in 99. I wonder if we were the last of a genre or a generation, rather, the last of a generation to have those kind of parties. Because we used to, in high school, it was, hey, there's going to be a house party here. But a house party didn't mean a party at somebody's house. It meant a house party where house music is played, where either a deck is laid, right, if it was somebody's it was either if it's dirt backyard or grass, but they would always put down a couple slabs of wood, so that we could dance. And those were house parties. They were called that, house parties.
And were they during the night, during the day? Because some of them were doing like ditching school, right? Some of them, you remember those?
Not I don't know,
Okay.
but I never attended
Okay.
a day one.
Okay.
But the ones that I used to go to
Uh-huh.
were, hey,
$3.
it was always,
to get in?
yeah, generally it was always $3.
Yeah.
And it was always like, you would get the word around Friday, hey,
Yeah.
where's the party? Where's the party? Where's the party at? Where's the party at? Cool. And then the right persons will let you know, okay, but you know, there's going to be a house party over here, this and that. Bam, bam, bam. Cool.
So they're like the baggy pants era of that time.
Yes.
Exaggerated baggy pants.
Yeah. But also,
Was that coming out, cleaning out?
yeah, it was
Rebels and
it was the Rebels
Uh-huh.
and the Breakers,
Uh-huh.
which I enjoyed both sides of that
Uh-huh. Yeah.
spectrum, right?
Yeah.
I used to break dance and I loved dancing house music. It was just, man, it was high school for me was freaking awesome, dude. It was a lot of fun, man. but I wonder like
Uh-huh.
like if you go to I would imagine it's harder now.
Yeah.
Right? It was easier for us because there was no cameras in anybody's house, right?
Yeah.
Like modern times, right?
True.
Like today.
Mhm.
And it was those that era where it was no cell phone, so
Mhm.
mom and dad leave and you know whoever was hosting the party, like you kind of
Yeah.
knew like you had the whole house for the weekend,
Yeah.
so it's no issue. Nowadays, man, I can imagine it's
Facebook right away. Boom, there you
yeah,
go.
bam, like hey, there you are, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, man. It's a shame.
Yeah, it's kind of gone.
It's a shame because it was just fun, you know.
Mhm.
It was
And there was no fighting. There dancing. It was dance off. A bunch of dance offs.
dance offs.
I
for sure.
remember that.
Absolutely.
Like, oh my god, it's ridiculous.
And that was, man, that was so cool because it was kind of like school after school
Uh-huh.
because you were generally around the same
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 crowd,
friends,
exactly,
same
yeah.
crowd.
'Cause, yeah,
but you were like, okay, everybody gets to show their moves now. Now let's see, like, you know, bam, here we are
Yeah.
in this setting, and you know, people hooking up, you know, like
Yeah.
find, hey, that, you know, that girl's here that you've been wanting to talk to, and you get a chance to. A lot of my first interactions with let's say the dating scene or whatever was like, hey, you want to dance?
yeah.
Like, man,
Yeah, in school you just whatever, but then
yeah,
that gives
because
you the
that was
opportunity.
like the scene was that,
Yeah.
and it was like that's how you say hello,
Yeah.
right? That's how you show your interest.
And they already
straight
knew
up.
who you were. And you're like,
Of
I see
course.
you, but you never said hi. Yeah.
Oh man, dude, memories, bro. That's it. That like you knew, and there was like a scuttlebutt, right? Like
Yeah.
rumors going around, like hey, she wants you to talk to her. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Like hey, do you want to talk to him? Yeah. But it doesn't happen until the party.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, what's up? You want to dance? Yeah. So and then the whole, well, of course, you know, getting to know each other process at the party
Mhm.
while you're dancing, while you're enjoying music, and man, it was great times, dude. That's why I say, man, it's a shame that
I think you probably were then probably the end of that. 'Cause
I
that's
think
when
so.
that's right when before the big race started, you know.
yeah.
And you remember? Did you ever go to those big ones? Like, you would have to meet up a spot first, and then they give you the code to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because then you go somewhere else, and
Yeah.
you went up to the bookstore, and you have to go to the bookstore or whatever. And then,
Yeah. I just a few times. I think maybe just two. I think.
Did you ever get to the ones you have to get in a bus and they bus you somewhere else?
No, dude. What the hell?
That was a
Damn.
trip, dude.
That
Yeah.
was some.
They actually rented a bus and like a school bus or
Wow.
like almost like a Greyhound bus.
Yeah.
Two of them sometimes. And
Take
then
you to some.
they just take you somewhere else. Yeah, because it was private, so that way for sure you're not gonna get busted. I went to it was called K-Rave. I went to one in Knott's Farm, and they
wow.
rented out all of Knott's. They closed it down just for the rave.
Was it official?
No, I think it was still like kind of underground. It wasn't like sponsored by a radio station or nothing like that. Yet.
Oh, okay.
So these guys shut it down. They shut it down early.
Damn.
And they rented it, and then they actually opened it up, and they called it K-Rave.
Wow, that's cool.
And it was, I think that the next year it was commercialized. But
they saw how popular it was. and
yeah,
how-
I think the band In Too Deep.
Damn.
They were there, and it was funny because they were still like fresh. You know, you could tell like they Was it Back to the Hotel? You remember that song?
Yeah.
Okay,
Back
and
to
they would repeat that beginning over and over because something was wrong with the cue and everything. So they'll start, they'll come out and they're like, oh shit, come back. They're like, dude, they must have done like 5 or 6 times to the point that everyone's like, oh, come on, man. You know, so you could tell it was on the track, you know. But they were young, dude. They were just barely starting out.
They were doing Milli Vanilli?
But they were just barely starting out, man. And they got big later, like after, you know. But talking about that too, because I remember my friend, his girlfriend used to live on Cypress in Southgate.
Oh, okay.
And his girlfriend used to live across the street, so we used to go across the street to his girlfriend's house. And we were like, oh yeah, my brother's singing in the garage, you know, like people that are older. And we're like, they're all rapping. They're like, dude, they're gonna be famous and whatever. A year later, I come into Palmdale, boom, Cypress Hill blows up. And I was like, dude, that was him. I was like, what? I was like, dude, I still hang out. And then my friend like, I still hang out with them. I'm like, what? Because his girlfriend was one of the best friends of Sinin.
Oh.
Sin Dog, right? So they would always hang out, and so my friend kind of had that connection with him.
Cool.
So when I went to visit him once, like a couple years later, and he's like, yeah, I still hook up with him. I still talk to him. Do you want to go to his house? I was like, wow, are you kidding? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I felt weird because I'm like, what are we gonna do? You know, like,
those are,
you know?
man, those are kind of dangerous nowadays. They get people crazy.
But it was interesting because we actually hung out at his house like probably in half an hour.
Oh, cool.
And I was like, dude, that's crazy, man. It's like, but he's like talking to him like whatever, you know. But because he's the only one that has his connections to when hydroponic was barely coming out.
Oh.
So he was like, he had the connection to that, and he didn't know. Then it was rare to find someone that knew that.
Yeah.
So he was the one to actually get him that, and I was like, cool, man. And then we just sit there and talk to everyone, and he just had a little stash and just with himself the whole time. And we were just like, I'm like, damn it, I'm in his house, man. I can't believe it.
That's
like,
cool, dude.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
And
I remember, like, we never told him. I remember we used to laugh in the garage because we didn't know who they were. You know?
Yeah, of course.
We just heard some guys rapping from the garage, but we didn't think they'll make it big.
And you know, I saw the Joe Rogan episode with Be Real when he was on, and they were talking about how they got passed up by a couple record labels because of. They were singing about smoking weed, you know, and that back then, well, it was illegal still, and you know, it was just kind of like, and it was like, why would you sing about something illegal? You know? But to think like
you probably wouldn't even get airplay.
They were, regardless of what the time was, they were singing about something illegal, and they were making it known that, you know,
straight out,
straight out. But they became successful. I think that lends to just doing what you enjoy, like with art, you know. And I always reference everything back to
be true to yourself.
Exactly, just be true to yourself, and
they smoke, man. Trust me, they smoke.
Absolutely, man.
We were young, we didn't even touch that, and we were just like, dude, they're crazy. That's why we're like, they're not gonna make it big, you know. Like we're just laughing.
Right. Like
boom,
but they're passionate about that. They're passionate about that. They enjoy that, you know. For me, one of my philosophies, man, as long as you're not hurting anyone, then cool, keep enjoying life.
And that was a big risk back then, because I mean, who's saying that? No one's saying about that stuff, you know. It's like,
and the tracks were dope, man.
Oh yeah,
the music was badass.
Yeah, the first couple albums were best, man.
Even for us like non-weed smokers, and I was just still singing along.
Yeah, go with the lyrics.
No matter, like, damn, the songs are great. Like, the songs are good, man. Still good.
Yeah, you can't relate to them, but it's still like, It was so different to me too. It was so different. It was like more relaxed, more, you know, like when NWA came out, you know.
Yeah.
It was like totally different. It was like, wow.
That's another thing, right?
Like the Chronic was, oh my gosh, dude. It was like right after another.
Yeah, exactly. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Even now, I still listen to them. Like, you know,
man, dude. You go to any tailgate, especially in California.
Yeah, dude.
I'm sure you're gonna hear nothing but those jams of the 90s.
The Super Bowl, that Super Bowl 80s. Show, yeah, it was awesome.
And
so many words, and it still, I mean, like, it still holds up, man.
Exactly, man. Just doing what you enjoy doing, what you're passionate about. I think that what it comes down to is that people in general, the general population, appreciates honesty. Whatever it is.
And it comes through big time.
We generally, as humans, I feel we appreciate honesty. And if that's your honesty and it sounds good, and if that's your honesty and it looks good, Like you're gonna be successful. You're gonna have success to your liking, whatever it may be.
Yeah. Cause you can imagine all those people that were like, well, the marketing people. You know, it's like, okay, well, you're not gonna be marketable. We can't put you on the radio. We can't put you on TV. You can be smoking. You're talking about smoking. You can't smoke on the TV. You can't,
As a manager, it's like, what can I do with you?
It's like that's why they got passed up by a lot.
Absolutely.
That's what they're looking at. They're looking at the end of the money. But it's not all that. But they took a risk. Cause, okay, we might not get airplay. You might not get this, but we're gonna stick to it, just like Metallica.
That's interesting that you use that word risk, right? Because that's what their mentality is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna take a risk on these dudes. I'm gonna take a risk on this, and it ends up being successful. Like, why does it have to be a risk? Why doesn't it just have to be like, okay, you guys, man, I can see your energy. Like, just by the passion that you have doing this, let's make it raw. Let's find a way, man. Let's find a way.
Like even directors, if you would limit them to certain ways, styles, or half of these movies don't need to be done.
Yeah, man.
Like you're crazy, Tarantino. But like, come on, dude, you can't do this movie. How can you do this? And it doesn't make sense on paper, but you visualize, you see it like, oh my gosh, this guy's awesome.
I agree 100%, dude. When it comes down to directors, like the film industry should be artists making films. Like, been, unfortunately, modern times, it seems like a lot of the people acting, celebrities, are almost like it kind of feels like society feels like maybe this is a bad interpretation, but I think that it feels like celebrities are more valuable than directors.
Oh yeah, and that's true.
I kind of feel that.
They feel that. Something you could
right?
Yeah.
When it's almost like, no, you're
Sorry,
if you're like Daniel Day-Lewis is the baddest dude. I love Daniel Day-Lewis movies, and with Paul Thomas Anderson, whenever they hook up, man, damn, man, one of my favorite films. It's on Netflix right now. It's called The Phantom Thread. It's still there. Amazing film, dude. I just love it, man. I love Paul Thomas Anderson.
So you know they're gonna work together, like, oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be they're gonna blow it out of the park, dude. But it feels like Paul Thomas Anderson films, Quentin Tarantino films, they're good because it feels like those directors don't let anybody mess with them. Like,
exactly.
I put something together. I'm an artist. The film that I release is my art, and if you enjoy it, cool, and if you don't, pass up on it. Yeah, but
Scorsese,
leave them alone. All those dudes, the top-notch dudes, man. If the film industry would just leave directors alone, let them realize their visions, I think we would have a lot more enjoyable films.
And now with this social media stuff, and they see that more value now. Like, okay, are you approved by them?
I feel that too, dude. Yeah.
Is that, I mean, why do you have to be filtered to that kind of crowd?
Yeah.
If are you marketable with them? Who cares? It's like, I'm not catering to them. I'm catering to myself. I'm going to do my style. My style of art, my style of writing. Anything. It's like
Stanley Kubrick, another one. Dude.
Oh, she's
top notch, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like I want to see how weird you could go.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see how weird you can.
Sometimes it's brilliant.
Make these.
Sometimes it's questionable, but sometimes it's brilliant. I remember I saw Clockwork Orange the first time. I was like, what the hell is this? I saw it late night by myself, and then I was watching it, and then the second time I saw it with a friend, and I liked it a little bit better. And the third time I saw it, I was like, then I understood it more, and I was like, you gotta watch this.
Yeah.
And I wanted the person I was with the third time to kind of like see what I was seeing the third time, the second or third time with that person, because I know the first time I was lost.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was just a weird movie.
Same here.
Yeah, but then I appreciated it later. The first time I just did not get it.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of disturbed by it. I was like, man, what did I watch?
Yeah, man.
But you gotta take it for what it is,
They're artistic films.
Yeah.
Artistic films. Well, at least that one. It's an artistic film that does take a little bit of trying to comprehend, like, what is this all about?
Yeah, and if you try too hard, you get lost.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So, but it's really interesting how that works, though. To have that kind of balls to actually do that, for your love of art,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
not sway from it, because if you compromise anything, then you're actually compromising yourself. It's like you're catering to them.
And in a way, I mean, it's kind of tough too, right? I mean,
Yeah, because how are you gonna get in?
exactly, man, exactly. Like,
Yeah, they won't
rough,
accept
dude.
you in, and
Yeah.
how's that gonna happen? But look at now, like we're saying, Cypress Hill. Now they're showing them smoking, and then the lyrics are not edited or nothing, and it's
Right.
acceptable. Now it's like nothing compared to now.
Sure,
compared
it
to
doesn't.
then.
Yeah, it had a
Just
different
like
impact
movies,
back
yeah,
then. Yeah.
now they cuss and talk about this.
Mhm.
Now they even go overboard, but it's like back then, it was one little single word. It was like what,
Sure, sure.
and then going back on talking about like the bands and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
For me, was I watching? I put Rage Against the Machine, and their first concert ever was in Northridge College.
Wow.
And dude, they were on stage, and Zach is like almost like dancing. He doesn't
Really?
do that. Like, he jumps up every once in a while.
Yeah.
But this guy was like bouncing around because he's like, he didn't have his style yet.
Okay.
Okay. But you could see it, and he has this beanie that keeps taking off. Put it back on. Put it back on. His hair wasn't long. It was kind of short. It's kind of blurry, the video.
Okay.
But it's just set in one camera, right? One
Okay.
camera. And it's the whole time in there.
It's just stationary.
It's the first time they filmed the whole concert. Well, it's a college concert, right?
Sure.
And there's people walking around, going to classes and stuff.
Wow.
And the people are like whatever. And they don't no clue who they are.
Yeah.
Their songs were not yet.
That's crazy.
Even the guys, you can hear the guy in the camera, the person who's recording him. Is this band any good? I don't know. He's just talking that. And then this one dude just comes out of nowhere, just like crazy and stuff, And you can see they're like, okay, they're kind of jamming with them and stuff. And then the songs are singing, you're like, oh, geez, this is an awesome song, But they're not known yet, so they're not.
Yeah.
They don't know the tune. They don't know the melody and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dude, a year later is when they blew up, and then they did stadiums from there,
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, they were in California on their first concert.
That's crazy.
It was great during the school lunch or whatever it is,
Yeah.
break. And they're young, man. And then you see Tom Morello's style, still has the style and sound and everything, and it sounds pretty good compared to, even though it's just recorded on I'm assuming
VHS, yeah.
either VHS or High 8, But I was surprised. I was like, wow, they didn't change their style, because even then he was doing the same thing,
Yeah, man, and Rage had it was funky, but with Zach's vocals was like, yo, man, he's flowing, like he's rapping, but
and then it was
what an interesting style, dude.
You could see the people like, huh? When they see him, because this guy with like long hair, and like he's jamming to what Tom Morello's doing, and then when he starts rapping, because he takes a while to start, because the intro was really long.
Okay.
So he's like, and then you just, yeah, it's like, and then he goes, yeah, they do that. And he goes,
Okay.
All right.
Hey,
let's do that from the beginning. He was like, hey. And
Yeah.
then like, all right, and it took a while, like maybe 2 minutes or something. It took a while.
Wow.
And then he starts rapping, and then the guy's like, you could tell, like, what? It's rapping. It's like, it wasn't like. No one really used to that style yet.
Yeah.
Much.
I can imagine.
So
It's
it was
quite
like,
bizarre.
yeah, and then I think it's 92 or something like that, the video.
Damn.
Yeah, dude. And then I was like, wow, they're so young. And then the documentary I watched right after that one, and so when they actually got big and stuff, and they became controversy because all they did is political songs and this and that. But the one is like, fuck you, I want to do what they tell me, right?
Yeah.
So over and over and over again.
Yeah.
He does it at the college, and same sounds the same. They didn't change it at all from that to then. And then supposedly when they went overseas, I think Italy or something, they told them, don't do it, don't do that. Like, all right, they're not. I mean, that whole song is that.
Yeah.
And then they wanted them to compromise that on live TV. And no, at the end they kept it.
Yeah, well, you
and
got to.
Look at the camera, he's doing this, and he kept singing it.
Like that's the reason for that song.
Yeah, exactly. And then they actually tell him to edit it.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
And well, obviously he's like, well, we never got invited again. Who cares? They were bigger than that station probably by then.
Yeah.
I forgot what station it was. It was some smaller back in the day. Almost like the Doors had, he couldn't say "Light My Fire."
Yeah, come on, man.
And he's just firing, looking to the camera like, oh, it was like a big deal. And this guy's saying, fuck you, I want to do it over and over again,
Yeah.
But I thought that was pretty interesting too, to see that they never changed, although they say that they are the big machine, they are the machine because they signed to Sony instead of someone independent. But I mean, monetary wise, I guess they had to or whatever, but they talk about the man, and then they are the man, and there's a whole thing about that, you know. But I mean, I guess it comes to a point that you want to get paid for your work, you know, and if no one else is offering it,
that's very interesting.
They couldn't go independent, you know. They were still small.
But because think about it, very interesting. I have a message I want to put out.
Good.
The best way to do it is to go mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna sing about anti-mainstream,
Mm-hmm.
but because I want this message to get out to as many people as possible.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So it's a strange like a dichotomy.
Yeah.
Right. You're doing it for the right reason, but that right reason forces you to go the route that you're against.
Yeah. But you have no other choice.
And you know what is interesting is that's very similar to graffiti artists.
Mm-hmm.
Graffiti artists, I've seen plenty of documentaries where they touch on the subject like, I don't want to sell out and like sell my stuff in galleries or this and that.
Yeah.
No, I'm an OG, right? Like the reason to do graffiti is because it's illegal.
Uh-huh.
But what's interesting is that if it were not illegal, would you still do it?
Uh-huh.
Right? Like the only reason you're doing it is because there's a rule.
Uh-huh.
And you're saying screw the rules.
Yeah.
But when you're offered, you know, to do something lawfully, you don't because it's not unlawful. Funny, huh?
Yeah.
Like every graffiti artist that's out there, my take is, again,
but they
as long as you're not disturbing anybody's peace,
yeah,
enjoy life. If you know, in my opinion, unregulated street art can look unappealing. Like find a legal wall or find find a way to express yourself legally, because you can.
Not like on top of a stop sign or something like that.
Yeah, or on the freeways, or on signs, or on like street signs. It's like let's be a positive members of society, but still express ourselves in which ways we can. But the reason I say that is because, again, the only reason, a lot of documentaries, the only reason why the artists on there do graffiti is because it's illegal. and you want to raise your finger at the system. Yeah. But if that system wasn't there, you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, it's true.
So
you need both.
You need the system in order to break it. But I just thought that's kind of funny.
I was last week. I was at the AV hospital, and I was reading the waiting room stuff, and I was reading an article about graffiti.
Oh, cool.
And they're complaining about how graffiti's taken over all of Palmdale, Lancaster, all in Antelope Valley, and it's becoming an eyesore to the point that
sure. Then that's one of my points.
You can't see a spot that's not graffiti on,
and the graffiti that's a lot of more eyesore is like the stuff that's not really art. It's like the gang related stuff.
Just tag,
yeah.
And then half of the stuff the normal layman can't read it.
Decipher
so they're like, okay, it's only for that gang or that person to see it in their face. It's like, okay, but then do it somewhere else where you have to face this place, you know? So, the AV hospital has been doing renovations to the place.
Okay.
A couple of years, right? So they finally finished this part. I guess I didn't see it, but it's supposed to be in the corner of the Antelope Valley and whatever the main corner is, and a car ran to. They had this. I guess it's like a water fountain or some kind of wall that they had there.
Okay.
And so they had like a style like a rocks, right? So supposedly they had finished it, and then a car ran through it by accident.
It was like a art structure.
Okay, yeah, something like that, right?
Like a sculpture.
So it happened twice.
Wow.
Okay, so they're like, damn it, it's like, so they had to rebuild it, put it back in, and another car ran into it. And oh gosh, again. So the second time, and then what happened? Some other idiot comes and defaces it and puts his tag on it, which they're saying it was worse because now they try to sandblast it, can't do it.
Yeah,
it's gonna ruin the style of the art because it's supposed to be like rocks, and you can't paint it because that's also gonna take away the style from that thing. So that's what they're saying. It's like now it's still there. They're not sure what to do, sandblast it or paint over it, but then that style of whatever that wall was is not going to be the same anymore. And then that's where he's saying, he goes off, the writer the writer of that article goes on to saying, like, all up and down all the main streets, you just seen all this stuff. Even like you were saying on the signs of the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, what are you getting out of that? You know,
Exactly.
it's like,
exactly.
And if you want to put your name, we can't read it, so it's not really like you're for the masses. You know, it's just for certain small amount of people, but it doesn't make sense to us. You know, it's causing so much problems here up here. You know, and it's like he was really sad about it. And I don't know what he was, but the end of the article was, I can't remember exactly what, but pretty much he was just saying it's like it's gotten worse throughout the years, and like that day, you know, the 2 times the car ran through it,
Mm-hmm.
it was hurtful, but what hurt him more is this last one when I actually got the face with someone, and that person has no heart to actually do that. You know, it's like, they don't see it that way, but
right. It's difficult too, right, to try to get through a young mind, a young reckless juvenile, which is more than likely who it was. Because it's
and they really don't get much out of it, you know. It's like
it's kind of like an impulsive thing. I want to do that because I want to be rebellious. And,
to two friends. Oh, look what I did, and that's it.
Yeah,
you know, and then they don't feel the people that have to deal with it. You know,
it's a shame, man. And for me, maturing, growing up, I would say maybe 10 years from now, maybe the person that did deface that wall ends up being an outstanding artist.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And they'll look back on that and be like, dang, I kind of feel bad about what I did, you know. But the maturation process is generally years in the making.
Yeah. It's like a lot of inmates, you know, with the gang problems.
Exactly.
They regret it after a while.
Yeah,
like, dude, we killed so many people, or we hurt so many people, or we did this and that.
In hindsight.
Yeah, and they're like, jeez. There was a good one with Trejo.
Danny Trejo,
when he talks about when he was in jail, and how he started guiding people and stuff, and that's when his mind just kind of opened up, and he regrets a lot of stuff that he did, you know. And he said, I did so many things up and down San Fernando here, and he kind of talked to some of the people there, and then it touches a lot of people because those people that also could relate to that, you know. I think it was 99% of them I end up regretting it because they're like, you know, it was just something I did when I was dumb and, you know, young. But
and I'm no saint, you know, from my past. Let's say right at the current state of consciousness that I'm in, I'm very aware of everything that I do. And, you know, I try to keep myself.
Well, see, you don't have them when that young. And it's true what they say, you know.
And the thing is that that's not our culture, right? We don't grow up grow up in a tribe where everybody checks each other and is like, hey, you know what? This is what's best for the tribe. Like, avoid drama and, you know, just keep cool. Everybody, you know, stay on a good path. I feel like if meditation is a part of high school, there will be a huge change because high school years are those years, man, where reckless stuff happens.
Exactly.
Man, right? From my your generation, you say my generation, I say I ask anyone that's in their 60s, is that how it was high school at the time? More than likely they'll say
And the influence through your friends too. It's like
because you're all hormones and there's all this energy, right? There's all this stuff that's going on, and fortunately for some of us, we had
everything.
We had the outlet of dancing, right? Like break dancing or house music dancing. So it's not all generations experience the same thing, you know. But if meditation was like even like 2 minutes, you would have to check into a homeroom, right? I don't know if they still do that now, right? But homeroom was like, okay, you just like whatever the purpose was for that, for attendance or what?
Why they took it in every class? Yeah, it's true.
So I would say, like, man, if I ever get to a level of popularity where I can influence something to include politics or a change in the school curriculum, you know, program, I would say maybe not call it meditation because I don't know, some people might have something against that word. But just sit down, be silent, and for the next 2 minutes, the whole campus is gonna be silent.
I had that. It was called detention.
So, but on a positive, right? With a positive thing, right? A voluntary thing. Sit down, close your eyes, and imagine your next vacation, or imagine your last vacation, or place your attention onto something positive, or where do you see yourself as an adult? Like, what kind of career would you like to have? Whether you're an athlete, whether you're a school teacher, whether you want to be a baker, a cook, whether you want to be a performer at Cirque du Soleil, whatever. Like, imagine that. Imagine what do you find joyful about what you know so far in life, right, as a teenager? And then just imagine that for a good 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes is up. All right, everybody have a nice day. Man, just that alone, man. Just that little process right there would change a lot. Because self-reflection, you know, when you're just forced to sit down and introspect, that, in my opinion, aids the, like, maturing.
Well, it's the same thing when you say you get hot-headed by something, you're all mad. You're just like focus on that, you know. They're like, just count to 10 backwards, you know. It's like, and it's true, because if you're mad at someone, you know, oh, I'm gonna kick his ass, and then you're like, just you do that meditation thing, and then you're just like, smooth it out, yeah.
Absolutely, great point.
That's the whole point, because you're focused on that, and then you forget about that, and you're like, well, that's not a big deal. It was at the moment, but if you just take time just to focus, calm down, or think of something else.
And the reason why it would be beneficial in school, because you have them there. Like, everybody sit down, right? Yeah, it's a controlled environment. Everyone sit down. Okay, everyone be quiet. Everyone chill. When school's out, yo, man, when does a kid really sit down?
Like homework.
Do
your homework.
When can a kid just sit down and meditate? Like, no,
it's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, more than likely.
Yeah, but it's just like life starts going faster.
Exactly, man.
Especially if you have more siblings and family. Yeah. The bigger they are, the more.
And that's good. Like, there's a ton of energy, man. As a teenager, there's a ton of energy that needs to be exerted.
The same thing you're saying about the meditation. I think there's also to be parenting, because they never teach you to be a parent. You don't have to pass a test to be a parent, but you have to do one for driving, right?
That's
so like if you're a parent, if you're pregnant or whatever, you have to take a parenting class.
Yeah.
Or the guy or whatever, or just take one now, just to, you know, to see, because you're getting married, but you're just going in blindly, you know.
Man, I would say, you know, like they used to do the carry the sack of flour.
Oh yeah,
as a kid, right?
Or the egg,
like,
or whatever.
Nah, that doesn't cut it, man.
Yeah.
That don't cut it, dude.
That's enough.
I would say, go and live with someone that has a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. Stay with them for a week. Stay with them for a week. Go and just be there for a week, so that you get an understanding of what it is. It's a lot of patience. It's a lot of correction.
I could stay with my sister like 3 days, and I was done.
Done
for like a couple months.
Get a taste of how that is, so that you have an understanding of what's
tough, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be something that really, to be a parent, like your mind has to be ready for that, man.
Yeah, not like these MTV shows they have nowadays, glorifying it. You know, it's not that easy. It's like, it's tough, man. It's like crazy. But they don't make you take okay, you're pregnant. Okay, whatever. But it should be something before that. The same thing as meditation, because something for your whole self, you know, something for your partner, you know. But we have to take a class for passing the Faruqi drive, you know. But not for getting married or having a kid or any of that stuff. They don't force you to actually learn something. There's books out there now. Yeah, now, but who's actually going to pick one up?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like I'm pretty sure my parents just winged it, you know? And there's a lot of mistakes that go through that, you know? It's a lot of mistakes.
Of course.
Yeah, when you're... You don't want to do it that way. If you have a chance to do it correct way.
When you jump in without preparation, it's learning on the go.
Thank God I never... Oof. Oh, man.
Cool. Well, looks like we're at the end of the video. So to the audience, thank you for hanging out once again. I know we just jump around topics or whatever, but hey man, that's cool, dude.
So I'll bring a collection of stuff next time.
Yeah, sounds good, man. We'll work on maybe a show and tell kind of thing. But so if you enjoyed the video and you want to show some love, the best way to do so is to pick up some merch. A link to the shop will be in the description below. If you want to contact me for a commission, you can do so through Instagram or email. And lastly, feel free to share the video and spread the word about the channel. I greatly appreciate the support in helping the channel grow. Anthony, thanks again for taking the time to chill, man. I appreciate it, dude.
Like the talks, man. This drawing right here is working out. It's like so efficient.
It's
So
kind of
I like how you zoomed into. You actually get to find everything.
yeah.
That's
It's a
crazy.
fun process, man. Digital's fun too.
That's awesome. And
But
I haven't seen actually someone work on it that much.
cool. Well, to everyone out there in this amazing spiral, take care, enjoy life, and be kind.